Welcome to The Critique. Today we're diving into a really interesting analysis you sent over about Jimmy Butler's time with the Warriors. It does a great job looking at his value and, well, how misunderstood his impact might have been.
Yeah, it's a compelling piece. It really challenges that initial narrative, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. So our goal here is just to offer a few thoughts, some constructive feedback to help refine those arguments and really make the piece hit even harder.
Makes sense. Because you lay out that contradiction so clearly, the initial skepticism, too old, won't work, versus the reality.
Right, the jump from 26-27 to 48-34, winning 22 of 29 games, that's significant.
And the metrics back it up. Third best net rating, top defense in the whole league with him. It's hard data.
Exactly. And yet, as you point out, he still got tagged as a disappointment, especially later on. The piece argues that misses his actual role, the whole Robin to Steph's Batman idea.
Which is a great way to frame it.
Definitely. So we've picked out 3 areas where maybe a little polish could make this already strong piece even more persuasive. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
Okay, first point. While your title is definitely attention-grabbing, think about maybe recalibrating the framing slightly. It could boost the persuasive power by aligning it even more tightly with the nuanced argument you build inside the piece.
Right, I see what you mean. The title, "The NBA is Lying About Jimmy Butler," it's strong, almost confrontational right off the bat.
Yeah, just a little.
And the piece itself does such a good job showing the misconceptions, right? Like how people said, doesn't move the needle, too desperate, and then despite the team's huge improvement, he's still called a letdown.
Exactly.
But framing it as lying, it implies maybe deliberate deception, which might be a step further than simply widespread misunderstanding or misvaluation.
That's the core of it. My worry is that lying might make some readers put their guard up immediately. They might find it too extreme,
Instead of drawing them into the discussion about his overlooked value.
Yeah.
So the suggestion is to think about reframing that core idea. You want to capture the essence of misvaluation or these incomplete narratives, which you argue so well, without necessarily implying bad intent. Keep the boldness, but make it invite rather than accuse. Oh, okay. Okay, so less about intentional deceit, more about flawed perception.
Precisely.
So maybe, instead of "the NBA is lying," explore something that points towards reassessment, like unmasking the true value of Jimmy Butler, why conventional wisdom misses the mark.
That's a good direction. Or beyond the box score, the overlooked genius. Something that sparks curiosity.
Yeah, I like that. And then carry that through. When introducing the initial skepticism, the part about what most fans and media said, frame it clearly as a misconception.
Or a narrow focus, maybe.
Right, like the prevailing narrative around Butler's impact was deeply flawed. That sets you up perfectly to then dismantle it with the evidence, like his defense, his IQ matching Draymond's, the team stats.
It aligns better with the detailed, evidence-based argument you make later. Makes the whole thing feel more robust. Less like you're pushing a controversial angle just for effect.
Got it. Focus on perception and metrics, not malice. That makes sense.
Great. Okay. Second point. Let's talk about how you handle Jimmy Butler's occasional passivity. It's good that you include it, shows balance, but the way it's presented right now might subtly undercut your main defense of his value.
Ah, the part where it says, "Now with everything I have said," and this is going to sound a bit contradictory.
That's the one. Calling it a contradiction yourself kind of plants a seed of doubt, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can see that. Especially after arguing so strongly that judging him just on points per game, like 20 isn't enough, is missing the point about his all-around game and defense.
Exactly. You make powerful points about needing another star, about his specific role. Introducing passivity as a contradiction feels a bit like you're backtracking on that.
Right. Like I'm weakening my own case slightly.
So the thought here is, instead of flagging it as contradictory late in the piece, maybe weave it in earlier and frame it not as a flaw but as a facet of how he was adapting, or maybe a strategic challenge he was navigating within that Robin role.
Integrate it rather than isolate it as a problem.
Exactly. It makes the analysis feel deeper, more realistic, acknowledging complexity without undermining the core argument.
Okay, how might that look? Maybe when discussing his role as the second option.
Yeah, around that section.
Could say something like, while Jimmy fully embraced being the second option, focusing on his elite defense and setting up Steph, some observers did know moments where he seemed maybe too deferential.
That works.
Like his focus on making the right play for his new team sometimes led him to pass up shots that arguably he should have taken. It frames it as part of his adjustment, maybe.
That's a much smoother way to put it. It acknowledges the observation without calling your own argument into question.
Or you can even frame it looking forward, as a point of optimization.
How so?
Something like, looking ahead, finding the perfect balance for Jimmy's aggression, knowing when to take over scoring, won't just counter defenses. It'll open up even more space for his playmaking.
I like that. It turns it into a potential upside.
Yeah, turning a minor tactical tweak into a huge boost for a team already benefiting from his and Draymond's defensive IQ. It avoids the contradictory feel completely.
And it fits perfectly with the idea of him evolving in that system. Like the Pippen-Jordan dynamic Kerr mentioned, it shows a really sophisticated understanding of his contribution.
Okay, that feels much stronger. Integrates the nuance without weakening the main thrust.
Definitely. All right, final point. This one's about the defensive examples. You use some great specific plays to show Butler's defensive genius, but we think you can elevate their impact by framing them with a bit more narrative flair. Make those contributions really tangible for the reader.
Okay, the examples like guarding Randall or breaking up the pass to Gobert, you're saying they're clear, but maybe a little dry?
A little clinical, perhaps? They tell us what happened effectively, but they don't quite pull the reader into the moment, the tension, the split-second thinking, why it was genius in that context.
Right. The piece says he gives you everything defensively, has incredible basketball IQ, but the examples could show that genius more vividly.
Exactly. We want the reader to feel it. So the suggestion is to embed these moments in more of a mini-narrative. Showcase the strategy, the quick decisions, the immediate impact on the game. Really draw the reader into that genius you're highlighting.
Storytelling the defense. I like it. So take the Randall play instead of just the factual description.
Right. The help position, reaction speed, seize the eyes part. How could we make that more immersive?
Okay, maybe like this. Picture the scene. Butler is initially guarding the perimeter, scanning. Then, just a subtle flicker, he catches DiVincenzo's eyes shift towards the hoop. It's almost nothing. But in that instant, without even seeing Randall, Butler's brain computes the play.
Nice. Building the tension.
He knows the backdoor cut is coming, and he explodes into that space. Turns a potential easy score into a complete shutdown. That's not just quick reactions, that's pure anticipation. Reading the game 3 steps ahead. That's what all defensive level truly means.
Yes. That puts you right there on the court, inside his head almost. It demonstrates the genius so much more powerfully than just stating the facts.
Okay, and for the Gobert play, instead of just breaks up a pass.
Yeah, how do we narrate that one?
Think about this. Gobert, always dangerous inside, slips into the lane, totally unmarked for a second. It's a prime spot for an easy bucket. Now, most defenders react after the pass is thrown, often too late. But Butler, his awareness, that mental map of the court, is already processing. He doesn't wait. He predicts the pass, the arc, the timing, darts into the lane, and disrupts it before it even gets there.
Love the emphasis on prediction.
It's not just hustle, right? It's intelligent disruption. Kills the offensive flow. It's the kind of game-changing play you don't always see in the stats, but it echoes that defensive genius we often talk about with Draymond.
That paints such a clear picture. It really brings those moments and his specific type of IQ to life for the reader. It makes the argument for his value much more resonant.
Yeah, I can see how that adds a whole other layer to the examples, makes them work harder for the argument.
Fantastic. So, just to quickly